Hello, this is Mary Bush from Stampin' in the Sand. Thank you for joining me today for our fourth and final card in the Open Sea Card Class to Go. This Card Class to Go contained the Open Sea stamp set as well as all the pre-cut cardstock and supplies to create 4 totally different cards. If you have purchased my Card Class to Go, to create this card, you are going to need to bring in your Pacific Point cardstock layer that contains these elements. You have your Pacific Point card base, then you have a base of Early Espresso, Old Olive, a strip of Whisper White, a strip again of Espresso, and a little scrap of Old Olive. To get started, you're going to start with your Old Olive, and we're going to be stamping using the Ledger stamp from the stamp set and your Old Olive ink. We're going to ink up our stamp with the Old Olive. I'm going to try to do this without shaking the camera too much. I'm going to put that aside so nothing happens. And actually, I'm going to bring in some scrap paper to do this. And all you're going to do is create your own background paper. Now, we did do this same thing in one of our other cards earlier in the video series. So we're just going to stamp this up a few times, randomly stamping. It's okay if your images overlap a little bit. It's okay if they're crooked. All we're really doing is trying to add a little dimension to this piece of cardstock. Okay, so now we've finished that. And we can put that away. We're all done. Close up our ink pad. The next thing that we're going to do is, and I'm sorry I didn't have this out, bring in our Early Espresso ink pad. And we're going to take our compass image, ink that up good with the Early Espresso, and we're going to stamp that over our ledger in the upper right hand corner. Just like that. Okay. We can put that aside momentarily. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to bring in your Very Vanilla panel. And I've already done this part ahead of time. You're going to stamp your globe image 3 times, making sure that you get your land portions in your Very Vanilla panel. We're going to be cutting these out, so try to leave some space in between. Then you're going to be bringing in your Pacific Point ink pad and bring back in your Old Olive ink pad. Next, you're going to need some stamping sponges or sponge daubers. I have mine here all labeled. So there's my Old Olive dauber. And here's my Pacific Point dauber. And then using a 2-inch circle punch, you're going to need to make a mask from a Post-it note. So all I've done is punch the circle out up close here where the sticky is on my Post-it note. And you're going to lay this down over one of your globe images. You're going to ink up your dauber or your sponge. I like the dauber for this because it's a little bit more controllable. And as you can see I've done here, you're going to ink up your land in the Old Olive, and then you're going to ink up your sea with the Pacific Point. But you're going to do this through your mask. So wherever I see land masses, I'm going to ink that up with my Old Olive. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. Just get it as close as you can. Okay, so there's my old olive. Now I'm going to come in with my Pacific Point, and I'm going to do my C. I'm going to come in here and darken this up. Okay, so what you're going to do now is you'll remove your mask and move on to your next globe, and you'll repeat the process. So I'm going to do that, and I will be back to you momentarily. Okay, so I'm back, and I've completed inking up all of my globes. So the next thing we're going to do is take our inks and remove those, and we're going to come in with our paper trimmer, and you're going to need to cut all of your little globes down so that they're 1 3/4 inches wide by 1 1/2 inches tall. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be back with you in just a moment. So moving on, we can now start to assemble our card. So I'm just going to come in and I'm going to start gluing down my globes. And when you glue these down, your top and your bottom, oops, I have a clog. Your top and your bottom images, they are going to be flush with the bottom of your early espresso piece. So I'm going to start with my top and my bottom, or my bottom and my top, and then I can center my middle piece last. I'm going to need to get a different glue. Okay, so now I can come in with this one, and I can work on centering it up. Okay, so next, excuse me, I'm going to get a new glue. Okay, so next we're going to come in and we're going to take the old olive layer that we stamped, and we're just going to adhere that flat onto our early espresso piece. You can use snail, you can use liquid glue, you can use whatever you have handy. So there's that piece. Then we're going to take dimensionals and we're going to pop up our panel with the globes on it. And we'll just leave maybe 1/4 inch or so on the side. And see how that lines up? Now you have this nice brown border going all the way around, and then your brown border here. Next, I'm going to come in and I'm going to try this. This is my, I think this is a 1/16 inch circle punch. I'll put that up on the screen as well for you. And I punched a hole right through the center of my compass. And now I'm just putting a brad through it. And yes, I did notice that I almost covered up my west. So probably I should have paid more attention and had it over just a little bit more. But that's okay. It's good enough for now. Okay, so now we have the front panel almost completed. We can come in with our card base. And put some dimensionals on the back of that as well. Line that up on the front of our card. And that is complete. Okay, so throughout this video series, if you've been with me, you know that I've been using the And Many More stamp set by Stampin' Up! Just because of the vast array of images that there, or sentiments that there are in this stamp set. So I'm just going to choose one from here. So I'm going to use Happy Birthday. I have my little old olive scrap here, and I'm going to stamp it with the Pacific Point ink, just to bring a little bit more of that color in. I'm going to stamp that down. Oh, that came out pretty good. I'm happy with that. All right, next, and I apologize for rummaging around off camera. I swore I would never do that and I'd be prepared, but I'm not. I have my word window punch here, and I'm just going to, I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull in a Post-it note here so that I can pass this through my word window. You know, you think you're prepared when you sit down and then you realize you're not as prepared as you thought. So I don't know if you can see that, but I can line that up pretty well. Okay, so I'm going to punch that out. Okay, and now I'm going to come back in with my dimensionals, and I'm going to come in with my snips, and I'm just going to cut myself a little strip here from my dimensionals to put behind my sentiment. Now, included in your kit, if you purchased your kit from me, there will be 2 more brads. And those are for either end here of your sentiment if you choose to use the word window punch or another punch and you have the space. Now I'm looking at how tight this Happy Birthday is, and I don't see that I have room to add the brads, so I'm going to omit them. And I'm just going to come down here and put on my Happy Birthday. And now our card is complete. And thank you for stopping by. I hope you've enjoyed these projects. You can find the complete details on my Card Class to Go, as well as the shopping supply list for the materials used to create these cards on my blog. I'm going to post the direct link to this class in the description below in this YouTube video. And I look forward to stamping with you again soon. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.